This was a very different story. This was T1 just kind of winning everywhere all the time and then killing the Nexus.
I mentioned Painter's Jarvan as his worst champion, right? Pantheon is his second worst.
Well,
it's not like he's just a Pantheon one trick and this was exactly how they were going to play it out. I just think he slotted right in to what T1 were trying to do. He had such a high impact, but it was just such a great game plan from T1 from minute one, and that Olaf pick just destroyed the Vi and the whole setup for HLE. So we're going back to the drawing board a little bit here to see how much HLE can pivot within this best of three style-wise here, or maybe they are able to find the similar type of draft, but shut T1 out, prevent them from getting what they want in return.
Well, the Nocturne should be banned away, and then the Orianna if we want the same bans as last game. In fact, we have the same sides of the Rift as last game as well. T1 chose blue side, and then HLE have chose first pick, and so therefore that blue side will go back to T1 once again. The Skarner ban, Wolf, what do you think they want to pick?
I think it's looking like a first pick Lee Sin.
Yeah.
I also mentioned earlier, if you guys weren't there, that Painter has never played Skarner professionally. That's actually not true. I lied. I missed it. He's 3-0 on Skarner. Never mind.
Okay, never mind. He's pretty good at Skarner, I guess. The champion is also pretty well suited to playing into the blind man. Is the Nocturne going to be taken away? That will mean that Orianna will be traded for the Lee Sin.
Gonna be a first pick Lee Sin, I think.
No.
I don't know, Atlas. Like,
you do not let Faker have Orianna. This is rule number one of playing into T1. Do not let Faker. Like, if they hadn't made that mistake, then I imagine the trucks are already parked outside of HLE, right?
Well, the good thing is for this Orianna pick for HLE is that they can pick the Jarvan to set it up, right? That's available, even though the Nocturne was banned away.
Yep.
So they will have a good ball carrier here.
Whoa! Okay, Faker.
Okay, this...
Lock it in!
Usually you pick lock leader in the draft. I'm curious to see how T1 will convince us that this is a good idea, but we'll wait. As this means that... Okay, I thought perhaps there was a consideration of something else here. I do think it is almost certainly a Jarvan pick here.
Yeah, I think the Jarvan does make the most Kanavi sense.
Yeah.
Yep. You can definitely go in on that one. That's an Alistair, though.
So the main thing, the main way to counter lock is to make sure that you have winning lanes. And picking Alistair into it...
That doesn't help. Also, he's got an execute threshold. Having damage reduction doesn't help you with that either.
No, it certainly does not. Jarvan will still come through here, but I do, in fact, wonder what HLE meant by this.
Well, I mean, it is good into Lee Sin. You can kind of boop him out when he tries to boop himself in. That does make some sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like budget Skarner.
Yeah.
Catching the Lee Sin, I suppose.
Exactly. And you don't have the poppy answer either.
You don't hold him, but you can push him into the wall.
Yeah. Convince him ever so slightly to leave is kind of the option there.
Well, I know for certain HLE will not allow T1 to play the Lucian Milio lane. I don't think you get half of it here. Like, I don't think you go Lucian here because you won't get the Milio and you won't have that lane dominance. Gnar, with no Olaf counterpick, gets you topside control, so that feels really good for a lock. I don't know what they're going to play into this now, as we'll probably see some protection bans for this Gnar, like the Vayne.
Yeah, I think Vayne and Ambessa maybe could be banned away.
Those are the ones I expect to see.
Unless you want to ban, like, Vayne and Varus, expecting a Varus pickup. The Vayne is definitely going to be banned, as we mentioned before.
Lucian ban for HLE, 1,000%. They will not let Pays have that pick with this lock.
Lucian Lulu actually feels like a pretty good option.
That's exactly what I had in mind, because any pushing lane is a problem. They already got the Bard away, and could otherwise, if you want to do something different, ban Caitlyn here, I suppose. As Caitlyn into a Alistair lane is going to be pushing, is going to have that power for the lock to roam. Isaiah's given some feedback on this ban, it looks like. Maybe an Ezreal.
Ezreal, okay. So, a Lulu lane is very, very comfortable here for Pays and Carrier.
You can just lock the Lulu now, it feels like, and just likely pick Gunara on 5.
Yep. And Gumayusi will be able to pick accordingly, but instead, the Caitlyn consideration.
It's a little bit more Carrier pilled to go for a Caitlyn lane instead of the Lulu setup.
also just denies Gumayusi. Like, what does he play here? He doesn't have any of his key picks, right? Like, fearlessly banned, we have the Corki and the Jhin, and then the Varus was banned away, as well as the Lucian.
Is he going to just play Misfortune with an Alistair? I don't think so.
I think the Ziggs is almost the only way that you can keep yourself safe here in this lane.
I don't know, man. That Ziggs looks like lock food to me.
Well, I mean, he could be, but then do you play Ziggs Tristana? Maybe that's the answer. Into the Gnar on the top side of the map still gives you an 80 carry and gives them some teamfight presence. The Ambessa is the answer, though. That will be the decision made by Zeus.
This is such an incredibly volatile lane here for HLE to try to play through into this lock. We knew the Lux was coming because it's Keria, right? And Caitlyn Lux has always been a combo, but Keria is the Lux player. A lot of other players might even consider a Karma here just to guarantee it's a little bit easier to play, that you're going to have that push, but Keria never. He has popped off on this pick so often. I look at what T1 drafted, and it looked like they had a strong plan from the outset. They already knew, they always knew they were going to put this Gnar into the top lane, and they knew there were enough winning bottom lanes left that even if the Lucian was banned, they'd find a way to get that winning lane so that Faker can roam on the lock. This is old T1 right here. It says Painter right there, right? And Doran is playing on this roster, but this is like classic Guma Keria, Caitlyn pushing lane, Faker roams, they dive again, they get ahead, they win the game. Like, this looks, to me, quintessential exactly what T1 used to play like, even when they were doing double marks from bottom lanes.
Yeah.
With Caitlyn support sometimes from Keria. And Locke is the champion to just press R and collect the money when you have that winning lane, but they also have top side to potentially play for. And they have Lee Sin. I feel like this is an even bigger draft gap than Game 1's draft gap.
And if Doran, as he often does, can lane well on this Gnar, get himself to a position where he can team fight, which is his bread and butter on this champion, right? You get a Gnar into a wall, the Lock just feast on absolutely everyone, and it should just be lights out from there. But let's see how it goes. We get into the Rift. All right. Now, Life esports fans sound desperate, Wolf.
They certainly do. We're on the Hanwha side as well right now. There is one little caveat that we didn't mention in this draft for T1. Is that in order for Faker to get out and roam, he does have to win this lane. And that is a tough lane into the Orianna, and the Orianna can get the control and prevent him from making the impact he wants to. So that's on Zeka, and Zeka is a great Orianna player. Even though in the past he wasn't considered a mage player, this was his best mage, I would say. And so let's see how well he does on the lane, because if he can keep Faker locked down, pun unintended actually this time, it just keeps coming out when Locke's in the game. If he can keep him stuck in the lane, good time. As this is not going to be a good time at all.
No. At least Gumayusi will be able to bounce some bombs over. Does light a short fuse against Keria here, and that wave is just going to be shoved into the turret. This is one of those lanes where they kind of hope that they can get to light out of here, move around the map, and break up this 2v2. And if Gumayusi does hit his Ludens, then he will be able to just eliminate waves, and things should be okay. This lane has gone the Ambessa's way, but Zeus is going to have to, you know, pull himself together, right, against Doran.
The Electrocute buffs have really made this matchup a lot more playable for the Ambessa. Talking about the old buffs.
Yep, not to mention Ambessa's sustain being buffed a little bit obviously does come into play a little bit later on, but when it does, she feels a whole lot better, and it does come in around the time of the clip spike, which feels fantastic. Keria not going to be able to help grab that bit of CS. Gumayusi should be able to help with this one. Okay, there's the flash in, and Zeus returns the favor at 2 minutes.
All right, bit of a overstep from Doran there under turret.
Man, they are such gentlemen in this top lane, right? Like, Zeus survives with 1 health, right? And then just gives the kill away. And then Doran's like, well, I mean, you gave me the kill in the last game. Time for your turn.
Yeah, you and I are sitting here talking about Ambessa sustain and Electrocute, and Zeus is like, what if Doran just runs it down?
That is definitely going to be helpful.
So we'll watch this again. Mega expires, and with this, Slowy wants to go in at the last possible second here, and then takes the turret shot. And that's it.
That'll do it. Yeah, Zeus not celebrating just yet, though. and has now teleported back to lane with a
The arena
pickaxe.
is silent, by the way. Like, it's crazy. Like, the Hanwha fans didn't even get like that excited about that play.
They were like, we like Torin. He used to be our top laner.
I think they're kind of watching like, what the draft though. But what about the rest of the game? How about that lock champion? I'm a little bit worried. As Faker is controlling this lane pretty well right now, but obviously you can see it takes a big deficit. It's his 81st champion.
81st unique pick. That's a cute one, as he is taking a heck of a lot of damage here. Kanavi, can he get the flag drag flash? And the answer is no. The Ashen Pursuit comes out, and Faker will be able to keep himself alive, but doesn't have a lot of the blue stuff, and also doesn't have a lot of the green stuff either, as he hits level 5, gets a bit of that health back, but attack dissonance really starting to hurt here as Zeka would control the wave. And this is obviously going to happen, right? It's Orianna. She is very good at controlling lanes, especially into melee champions, so Faker is just going to have to bear the brunt of this.
He doesn't have teleport,
okay? Yeah.
So, you know, he's just really having to play this as best as he can. Luckily for him, it's an Alistar on the other side. Pretty tough for Delight to dive him and set Zeka up. Zeka doesn't have level 6 yet. So this is actually really good back timing for Faker, considering the lane state. So he'll be able to get back. We'll have all of his mana and health back, and then we'll be able to hit level 6 to potentially fight Zeka if he wanted to get some help from the cow. And a follow-up. Didn't have to flash or anything like that. So that was a pretty scary situation for Faker, but he was able to navigate his way out with the blink and get away.
Yep. This wave is actually shoving towards T1, I'm pretty sure. A few extra minions there. Bouncing Bomb does go a little bit wide. It's one of the issues with the Ziggs is that you have a lot of AoE wave clear, and so sometimes you can find yourself a little bit too far away from the wave after taking it down.
You know, with picks like Kale, Kassadin, the chat's always spamming the clock.
Yeah.
You know, and you're looking for, oh, let's get level 16. With Locke, it's just getting 6, actually. That's just the one right there. You get that one? He's got it right now.
You need to get the Poltergeist, right,
and,
Wolf?
Yeah, once you get the Poltergeist.
Yeah.
It's, you know, Professor Egad was really cooking on this one.
Certainly was. As was Bert, who I think came up with it.
Yeah. I think that now you're just kind of like, uh-oh. He could just delete us. That's a problem. We need to make sure that we're not actually on low health for any reason or being dove for any reason.
Well, Shockwave does come in here, as Faker does not really do too much or need to. Just gets himself out of there. That is going to be Painter locking down the first dragon, though. Chemtech already taken. X-Tech on the docket for the next one, so no Tech Soul this time. As Delight takes way too much damage there.
I actually like how Zeka's playing this. He just went for the tempo ult. He doesn't have kill threat on the Faker, but he's like, you can't leave the lane. I won't allow it. I won't let you press your ultimate in another lane and get money. I'm just going to ult you straight up right into your face, and now you're kind of stuck here. And now you can't challenge this wave. And this is actually a great call from Zeka. Just keeping the lock stuck in turret range, basically.
This has been one of his biggest improvements, I think, is his Orianna play. I think it's really helped HLE out in drafts a lot, because it has needed to be banned even by their opposition. When prior to that, I think they were banning it away most of the time. Certainly a lot of evolution here for the young mid laner of HLE.
If Locke goes down on farm, that's okay. He actually will still be functional because he doesn't really need to have a big early component or power spike to do what he wants to do in those early fights where they set up the dives. The problem for T1 is that topside, because of Doran's bit of a oopsie earlier, doesn't have control, and he couldn't leave the lane to get any impact on that first dragon. T1 get the dragon, but HLE don't fight for it and they'll end up in a scrap there. So Faker's just forced to back, loses a lot of farm, but he's still waiting for that moment, right? That big opportunity where he can just collect the bag. Locke is a weird champion in that, you know, he doesn't actually do a whole lot in team fights. He just does one combo and deletes people. Just ask Roamer.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I've kind of dubbed him the cheerleading champion, where he just waits for people to get into the threshold, and then he presses his combo with his ultimate. And if that never happens, you know, if your team isn't winning, you're not doing anything. You're actually not allowed to do anything.
And it's certainly the case in pro play, right? I think in solo queue and stuff like that, there are a lot more skirmishes where you can find yourself advantages, but it's just not how these games have been going. As Delight does face check, does have to headbutt Faker away, but he has that Ashen Pursuit. Catches up to do a bit of damage, gets rid of that passive, so nicely done. Delight does need to be a bit careful here, as you can see. Pretty squishy at the moment on this Alistar. Will be able to go back, though, and does have teleport.
Deluxe has a lot of burst damage to help Faker out as well, if anyone gets caught. put him into that threshold. He actually went for the Ether Wisp first, Keria, so actually gets a little bit of extra movement speed even in this early game to help out around the map.
That's a cute one.
I like it.
Shirelia's, I think, going to be built up pretty quickly here by the Lux, as Faker does have his shoes now all upgraded. As T1, we're thinking about the grubs, but Kanavi makes his way over. Delight was already here, had teleported back down. And it looks like with Zeus' help, they will guarantee grub control. That is the beauty of that first blood on the top side of the map. These grubs feel pretty comfortable. That's a great sidestep as FaZe just flashes on top of Guma. Shouldn't he use the satchel, my friend, as he flashes and aims the Peacemaker.
All right.
Oh my goodness, that outplay must have really hurt.
I know Umpty is on the analyst desk right now on the Korean side and he can't hear me, but Umpty, this is what I'm talking about. Umpty and I were having a long conversation about Ziggs yesterday and about how I didn't really like Ziggs. Brendan was there as well. Valdez was in the conversation. If you use your buttons in the 1v1 on the side, then you don't have your buttons, but the AD carry...
I mean, if you miss all your buttons, yeah, I think if you hit everyone...
Side steps here, right? Like,
yeah.
Just side steps, and then the second the ability's used, FaZe is like, I kill you. He flashes on him. He's like, you're dead. It's just period. He's like, it's math. Yeah, I got it. You're done. And, yeah, that was... unfortunately for Guma, the issue. I was going to say Guma stabilizing, right? Like, this game is going exactly the way HLE wants. Faker hasn't been able to get any skirmishes yet. And then just all of a sudden, misplay in the bottom lane, and FaZe, he is the guy. He is the Punisher.
He is.
He's him.
And look, I mean, I think some would say that Satchel should be reserved for saving yourself. And I think maybe Gumushi is going to have a good hard talking to himself about how he's going to use that Satchel from now on. And if he doesn't, then I imagine Orcs will send him a DM. As all right, in goes Doran. It's his turn to try and kill this little mage Yordle, and he does use it on himself. There we go. Okay, Doran is just going to teleport away. As trading places happens once again, Zeus turns up, and he says, all right, let me take care of this wave.
That was
we'll go home.
Pretty wise choice there from Doran. I think he might have wanted to just teleport to his turret instead, but it would have lost a lot of... Like, he had a lot of health that he lost in that exchange, so if he went back to his turret, it might have actually put him in a rough spot. Ultimately, we'll be able to get all of this wave anyways, so it doesn't matter too much.
Yep.
So I guess maybe I spoke a bit too soon on that one. Either way, a small win here for HLE on the top side. This dragon is going the way of T1.
Yeah, it's a lot of dragons in a row here for T1 so far this series.
And Faker hasn't had that big fight yet, but the threat of it has kept HLE pretty honest.
Well, Final Spark doesn't really do too much. The headbutt is going to push him away, and that blast going into Smite. Just too good from Painter.
Yeah, I think Keria wanted to try to maybe set up the Smite there, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't need his help.
Yeah, in goes Zeus right underneath this turret. Faker is just dead, ladies and gentlemen. Zeus is going to have to flash. Oh, I think almost would have been able to do the walk away, but did not want to risk giving this lock a kill.
Yeah, definitely the right choice to flash there. Good punish from HLE, walking out of a lost dragon into a big win there in the mid lane. And this game is very close right now, as there just hasn't been that big explosive moment. Luck, if he uses all of his buttons, can clear the wave, right? But that means he doesn't have them. And so Faker, I think it was a pretty obvious play for HLE to get that punish there. They were ready for it, and Faker was killed. Now he's down his flash as well. Got a flash in exchange, but I think definitely a huge win for Hanwha Life Esports. They do have 3 grubs with this composition for later on. They've denied that from the Caitlyn. I give them a slight edge in this game right now, despite being down 2 dragons, just because the win con of this draft for T1 hasn't gotten off the ground yet. They had that lane prio on the bottom side. They even got a solo kill there. But Faker is still a little bit in the hole right now.
Yeah, I do think that HLE need to deny some dragons from now on, though, because it's a mountain soul. And for a composition that doesn't have a traditional AD carry, you want your burst to actually work.
Yes.
And I don't know whether they're going to be able to if a few of these mountains are stacked up and then that soul comes in. It's going to be very, very difficult. As Gumushi throws some stuff around, he's going to be able to clear out the wave here in the mid lane.
I think they should be able to win fights from here. I think now they're ready to fight. Now they're ready to challenge this lock. And remember, this is where Caitlyn gets to be at her weakest as well. Now they're going to dive the lock again.
Yep, flash headbutt. Pulverize does come in. There's the knockup from Kanavi, and nowhere that Faker can go. Delight very comfortably tanks up that turret with the ultimate. And the problem for T1 is that Zeus is still too strong on the other side of the map, right? And getting on over here towards the top side is only playing further into a losing situation.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to put Faker in a place where he could just farm safely, but there is nowhere safe if Kanavi wants to get on you on this map right now. And I think this was, okay, hold on.
Oh, yeah. That was a very nice satchel that time around. Used a little bit offensively, but otherwise he is going to be okay. Just barely didn't have his flash. It's now Doran kiting this one away. Zeus with ulti up and available, but Doran trying to get towards Mega Gnar, as we can see here. Zeus realizing that with this mini Gnar, does have a lot of movement speed, doesn't want to just blindly throw out the ultimate with the ability to sidestep it, and wants to preserve that lead.
I think HLE are in a position now where what they really need to do is just make sure that they can keep control over the map and use all of their zoning tools, right? They have a Ziggs and an Orianna. They have pretty strong frontline that T1 has conditionally with Mega Gnar, otherwise doesn't have. And T1 want to be able to set up an explosive lock execute in a team fight, and if they don't have map control, setting it up is so challenging, especially when Lock is not ahead. Because Faker hasn't gotten any of those early kills we've often seen in our Lock wins, where the Lock is on like 4 kills at this stage in the game, and is stacking a Dark Seal, and is feeling really great. He's got a Dark Seal with 0 stacks right now, doesn't have any completed item.
The only way to go is up, Wolf.
Yeah.
When it comes to those stacks.
So, I mean, I think right now, HLE, if they understand their win cons here, and they understand the game state, are in a really comfortable spot at this point in time, despite the lack of dragons.
Yeah, and they also have a lot of wave clear as this Ziggs gets more and more items. This mid lane should be under control. Bouncing bomb comes in. Kanavi should be able to take away the crab. And Kanavi does have a bit of an advantage in the jungle, 500 gold, based on that kill and assist that he has picked up. Camps are very, very even, but Painter not able to be as active in this one. And Trinity Force is done here for Doran. That might be able to help him out, but that Eclipse has been done for a long time for Zeus. He's going to be building towards item number 2 relatively soon.
Is not TPing back to lane, so he's losing a lot of farm, but he can't TP because if he does, then he won't be able to match the TP of Zeus for this potential fight.
God. Every bouncing bomb is just so scary. As Painter doesn't hit the Sonic Wave, HLE are just making this map as dark as possible.
I don't think
they go for this Rift Herald.
I don't think T1 are going to be able to find an angle here to set this lock up right now. I mean, Faker is so far away. They're just acting like they might actually commit to a fight, but otherwise are not.
Oh, flash from Carrier, does not want to risk it. As the flag and drag was threatened, Kumiushi gonna come on over, throws out the bouncing bomb. A lot of damage there onto Pays. Even the Comet is really starting to hurt.
Pays did have the solo kill where he dodged everything, but Guma has otherwise been incredibly accurate this game as Faker's going for an all-in.
Yeah, actually doing a lot of damage here to Zeka. The lightning does come down from the sky. Still, Kanavi moving back towards this outer turret. And Painter has at least pushed them away from the Rift Herald.
That was a really aggressive play there from Faker, and Zeka wasn't confident that he was going to be able to lock him down with an ult, so he didn't commit, and that Faker actually wins the trade and pushes the Orianna out of the side lane.
And actually, like, Storm Surge versus Rod of Ages with 4 stacks, like, that is better.
Yeah, it's a big spike in the individual matchup, 100%, and the Rod of Ages isn't stacked that much, so it's not that great defensively into the lock at this moment in time either, and actually T1 with a slow play here will be able to get this Herald. It's a trade for Dragon, but I didn't think they were going to be able to get any ins on that one, but they played it so fantastically. Like, they were just waiting, forcing HLE to make awkward decisions. Now Faker may get punished.
Well, there is the Poltergeist.
Defensive slow.
Yep, and we'll be able to flash out of the way. With Delight coming up, it was a bit of a scary moment. He didn't have flash available, I'm pretty sure, unless he did use it prior to Faker using his. Now Doran will hop after Zeus here, but I'm not really going to be doing too much.
This game is very slow, and it's going to come down to one big moment, right? We're only at 4 kills here at 17 minutes because both teams know how volatile this is going to be. But I think the low kill game favors HLE, and they don't have to force any fights they don't like. They don't have to force any trades they don't like because time is on their side as this lock is still 700 gold behind. And it gets harder and harder to have that big lock explosive moment the longer this game goes on and the more dragons that HLE stack up as well. I mean, that guy's going to get this whole turret its first brick.
Yeah, I do agree with you. As Mega Inferno Bomb does come down, that is going to deny this turret take. As Carrier and Painter were both in this area. Faker was moving up towards that bottom lane as well. Zeus will be just vacating. I do think that HLE need to win in a specific window.
I agree.
They do
like
think
eventually,
that once FaZe gets 4 items, it's kind of over.
Eventually, you will get to a point where T1 do win out if like nobody dies and it's a slow game. But I think that gets tougher and tougher, and HLE will be able to control the map, right, and stop FaZe from getting that game state comfortably if they keep playing slow like this. But I do agree with you, like in a vacuum. I think you're absolutely right about that.
And I also feel like that is a relatively FaZe unique thing. We've seen him do this so many times on this pick specifically.
Yeah, there was that one game, I can't remember who it was against, but he was like, you know what, I put my try-hard pants on, and I'm going to save this game.
Yep. As Painter is going to throw down the Rift Herald and look to take down Gumayusi. He does use his satchel defensively, though. That is very, very nice. Shelly going to get a headache ramming into this turret. It's a lot of plate gold going on over to T1.
That was the most convoluted way to get a Herald to charge that we've ever seen, but they were almost able to get Guma to flash there. Still got the charge onto the turret. It is very low, and there's a Caitlyn pushing into it, so T1 are trying to get some value out of that. They don't have any turrets just yet. HLE got that top turret. 2 of these turrets on sides are down to 1 plate, so there's definitely some money on the map that T1 are close to getting.
But it is, as it stands, a 2.8k gold lead. Delight going down a little bit low, but he'll eat some honey for it. He'll be all right. And Shirelli is done here for Carrier, as well as the Locket of the Iron Solari completed for Delight. I think that extra movement speed for T1 will be very important. So we're still waiting for Painter to get his flashback and Faker to get his. Carrier also just a little bit away from his being picked up once again as Kanavi. Can he get the steal on this red buff? That's the question. It does reset back into the pit as Guma does make his way over. 5 members of T1 in the area as Delight looks to try and turn it, and they get right on top of the Gnar and take him out. Now the Cataclysm as Kanavi continues to fight. Kick comes back as Painter will get rid of him, and now the final spark, and there is Faker finding the kill onto the cow. A 1-for-1 top for support, but HLE will claim the red.
It's a really good save there from Faker, coming in to pick up that ultimate there on the trap into Delight. Otherwise, that would have been a net win for HLE and would have felt so terrible for T1 as Doran is focused down before he could really impact the play. You can see the idea behind this here for T1 to try to challenge, but Delight just instantly punishes with Kanavi. That mid-jungle, or sorry, support jungle synergy in this one working incredibly well for the 2 of them. They are able to force the retreat here, but with all that burst damage coming in, another binding to come through, Faker's able to get the execute with his ultimate, pick up the first kill of the game, as Faker may also be the target here of the next play.
Yeah, Zayas for a little bit of an angle on top of him. He's taking a lot of damage. There's the TP to come through. Doran coming down, looking to try and defend his mid laner, and I think he should be able to at least deter Zayas from killing Faker. Zayas is so scary, man. Black Cleaver is now done as well as the Eclipse.
Zeka also teleported down for a potential extended play there, so doesn't actually have any extra push on top, but he also keeps the wave away from Faker as a result of that. And I think that's why Doran was happy to make the TP save play there, because he's like, well, there is no top turret, so eventually if you push it in, we'll get that farm. But it's kind of awkwardly not the case, as Faker has to go all the way up to the top of that lane now to get it. And T1 have done a great job of controlling the mid lane this game with this Caitlyn pick. You know, Painter and Paze have been putting serious work in to try to find a potential angle to catch an HLE member here as they defend that turret. This is a really good game of League of Legends that we are watching right now. I think we haven't gotten to the finale. We haven't got to the explosive game-deciding moment that T1 is looking for to get themselves back into this one.
Oh, Delight. Gonna get turned on here momentarily. Painter has shown himself towards the top side of the map, though, and is looking to try and steal away some Krugs, but Orianna there to defend. And this Dragon should now go over to Kanavi. And we'll see whether T1 can actually get there in time, as, yeah, Painter is booking it down towards this pit. Carrier is there, and HLE are just going to back away. I think realizing that they're probably going to have to look for a team fight on this one as Painter goes in. Not sure about that one. Final spark goes down, and that is going to be the secure by the Ambessa somehow. Zayas also tanks up the ace in the hole to save Kanavi some health there. So 2 Drakes apiece as HLE get their second mountain, and I feel like every mountain is so valuable here for HLE when they've got this brawly composition.
Well, yeah, and also just preventing the burst from T1's comp from really setting up that execute threshold for Faker as well. And, you know, if they had stolen that, it would have been amazing for T1. They had the burst set up there for the Carrier with the final spark again. Last time he was able to get the crazy outplay and get out, but this time it was a bit too early, unable to do so. So HLE find themselves with 2 Mountain Dragons, and it gets tougher and tougher from here. as I still think HLE are in a fantastic spot in this game. I think T1 have played a really controlled, careful game, though. A lot of the time when we see lock fall behind in these types of drafts, teams just send it, and the lock looks horrible, and it doesn't work out, and people are like, I thought this champion was supposed to be broken. But Faker's played some really nice side laning. He's been trading really well. He was able to pick up that kill on a Delight earlier. Playing a slow game here from behind with Lock, and it might not in the end work out, but I've been pretty impressed with what they've put together despite the deficit here. Bahano Life, so controlling right now on the map.
Yeah, Carrier, it's very difficult for him to walk up. Doesn't exactly have much of a health bar to speak of. Does have Shirelias to run away, but hard to run away when a Jarvan Cataclysm is awaiting you. And Gumayusi continuing to put on the pressure here in this mid lane, getting more and more comfortable. Shadow Flame now completed. As Delight Hex flashing over. Hugh going to miss there from Painter as Kanavi in the Baron pit right now. But there is a lot of vision here for T1. I feel like they've been great at that, as there is the Poltergeist, as we like to call it. But Faker not really going to find too much there, and now they're going to look to turn it onto Painter. Headbutt Pulverize does come down. Mega Inferno Bomb not doing too much of anything, though, as the Light Binding will not connect onto Kanavi, and he just gets himself out. A lot of buttons now put on cooldown, but no one hitting the deck just yet.
Particularly Zeka's is not. I think he is the most important person in this scrap right now that T1 have to respect. They are going to be able to just kind of fight their way around the other side and get the turret. Final Spark, annoying Delight slightly there, but that is all it's going to do.
Yeah,
but
very nice. As Delight almost dies to the ace in the hole.
Wow.
Okay, that's a bit frightening. I think he's just about to steal away a red buff as well, unless that did get picked up by Zeka. And honestly, I mean, who really is the best suited for another red buff? Probably Zeus, but he is not in the area. Now looking to head back towards this bottom side of the map. That gold lead for HLE is dissipating.
So now T1 with this turret pickup, it's a low kill game. That's the difference, right? That between these two teams was that HLE had the turrets, but now T1 have picked up 2 additional ones. Now they actually have the turret advantage. It's such a tiny gold lead here, and almost all of it is on Kanavi, right? I mean, they have that lead over Faker. What we talked about already, he's on 2 items. His value in the team fight is to just delete the targets. The rest of the team does most of the work, right? And some of these scraps so far have just been a little bit messy from HLE, where they get an advantage but then get punished. Speaking of punishing,
yeah, Painter goes in. Kanavi just going to give him a little bit of a passive auto attack, and out he will go one more time. Area threatening. Painter is just always there, trying to start something. But Zeka's moving down. Faker a little bit later on the rotation. Painter still wanting to start something up here as he does just safeguard forward right on top of Delight. There is the Unbreakable Will as they look to take down the Lee Sin, but he flashes out of the way. Another Mega Inferno Bomb goes wide as the ulti from Faker is going to connect onto a few. And there's the boom boom damage as the double comes in from Faker. And now Doran just hops right over the top. Faker looking for his third as it's Pays that locks it down. 4 on the floor for HLE. Should be a Baron for T1.
It's not the first time T1 have been behind and just found their moment here in round 3. Guma trying to layer that poke in, but I just don't think he has enough damage here. Painter is very low, and we know what kind of Baron this is, even though Ox is off today.
Oh, Gumayusi in a lot of trouble. Faker's moving up. And let's see whether the nails will ring true. Gumayusi, that's not the satchel that he wanted, as Faker almost dies, actually. Would have been one more button, and he might have just been taken out. Still, Lock is another kill.
It's a lot of things, but durable is not one of them. He does end up taking a bunch of damage there, but this fight is so scrappy the way it's set up here. They just put the pressure onto HLE. The Painter goes in and forces a reaction, but he's Lee Sin. They use everything on him, and T1 are like, all right, well, actually, this is a fight we could take, because look at the front to back. Your Pays is set up so well. They get the burst down onto the Ambassador. The execute threshold is hit. Faker ends up getting a second, and they delete this Orianna. They just picked HLE apart, because HLE's all of their engage on Elisa and couldn't peel after that.
Well, there's a kickback on a Kanavi as well, as Faker is going to get the flash out from this Jarvan. He's going to go back in, though, because he's Kanavi, and that's what he wants to do. Teleport to bring the Ziggs into the battle.
Well, you look at the gold.
Dragon is soul point for either team.
The gold is just so much the advantage of T1 after just one big play. Now they have complete control over the map.
Cap Delight really wants to take Faker out of the fight before it's even really started in earnest. Gets the headbutt pulverized. They're looking to try and chain CC, and they will be able to connect it. Now can Kanavi get into the back of this pit to take this one down? The answer is no, but can they win the fight? This Mega Inferno Bomb is way better from Gumayusi as Doran hits Mega. Zeus trying to survive, but now he's actually looking to try and kill Doran. Doran, can he actually get the last auto? The answer's no, and that is just the ace. There goes the Baron, and HLE take back control.
Baron's gone. HLE get the gold lead back. A huge team fight win for them. They've got 3 grubs on this Ziggs. This mid turret is not going to last very long at all. T1 were super hyper-focused on this Dragon secure. By the way, Painter, I'm pretty sure didn't even have Smite, actually. Does get it last second.
There was a Smite sound.
Yeah. He didn't have it, I think, at the initial out there, but it came up just as he was walking away there. And so that was risky in itself, the whole situation there. But because it's so awkward for them to take the Dragon, it takes so long, that it's a great punish to come through from HLE. And they're back in the driver's seat. We just saw like a 6,000 gold swing twice, basically.
Yeah, that was crazy. That Rebel Baron power play probably moot at this point because we have moved back to a 3,000 gold lead. Zeus going to get spotted here by Faker. Let's see whether Faker can find the execute, and I think he definitely can. Boom goes the Dynamite, and down goes the Gambessa. 1 minute until Zeus is back again.
That's the thing about side laning into into a lock as well with any champion, is if he just presses buttons on you and has an R on you, there is no outplay. You go boom. And even an Ambessa can't get the outplay 3 levels up because he's just too low on health. Faker's like, you can't stay against lock, by the way. Watch this, I press R, and then you disappear.
Yeah, and the Ashen Pursuit was already down, trying to catch the escape, and he did have the cavalry making their way in. Zeus now has a GA, that'll help him, but didn't have it in that last exchange. T1 looking to steal away this red buff. That will go over to Painter. And now he wants to kill Kanavi. Flags and drags underneath this inner turret.
Baker's got a huge push in the bottom lane that Zeka's going to have to respond to. And they have control in the top side jungle. Very awkward here for HLE in this small little interim. That 1 kill onto Zeus just opened up the map entirely here for T1, as Faker's just going to run away. Doesn't like this fight. That's a healthy side lane champion he's playing into, so he's not gonna like that, especially without his ultimate.
Yeah, Zeker as well with the dissonance will be able to move himself pretty quickly. One thing I do want to note is that we've got Pays hitting 3 items with the Mortal Reminder completed, but Gumayusi has a very cool hat, and also is about to complete a Void Staff as well. The 4-item core for this Ziggs is just going to be so much damage.
It's a lot of damage, it really is. But they need to win the fight quickly. They need to prevent T1 from setting up a combo.
And they need to prevent T1 from getting a Mountain Soul as well in 2 minutes' time. I think that Drake is going to be a huge deal for both of these teams, but I think HLE definitely need to take it if they want to win this game.
If T1 get this Dragon, their call to force it on the last one, even though they got wiped, to secure Soul Point will have been worth it. And that's what we're going to find out, is whether it was or not. The fact that Faker has been able to budget in an extra Zonias into his build as well with the kills he's picked up here on the fringe means that he can get an extra combo off in a team fight here post Zonias to get some executes potentially, as we're going to see a collapse with TP.
Oh, Doran just going to teleport out. Oh, the Pulverize from over the wall! And now Doran going to be forced into some alcove gaming that he absolutely doesn't want. And down will go the Gnar. 1:20 on the Drake.
And Doran doesn't have
no
TP.
Teleport.
So it's going to be awkward for him to set up a Gnar bar for this fight. I just don't think he'll be able to.
Oh god, there's Gumayushi's Void Staff as well. Item Spike has been hit.
Exhaust first, and then flashes to get this pull over the wall. Crazy, crazy business here from Delight. He said, no, we're committing 4 people. I'm not going to let you waste our time. Really committing 5 people ultimately, with Guma coming down as well.
And man, Gumayusi taking a big old chunk as 4 items were completed by Pays at the same time. Daddy carries are very, very close in power level right now, despite that gold lead being slightly in favor of Gumayusi. 4 items feel so good for the Caitlyn, especially when one of them lets you hit people from a billion miles away.
Exactly. That's the big one. You know, you get the big damage, and now you get to use it. Now you have that rapid fire cannon. So Baron and Dragon are up, and because it's not Soul for HLE, T1, get to play around Baron a little bit here, but HLE are actually going to start it because it's 15 seconds till Dragon. They've calculated, they think they have enough damage here, and it looks like T1 are not going to be able to respond. nor will they necessarily be able to, in the interim, get the Dragon before HLE can rush over and stop them. That's the question. They are already on it.
I do think
I don't know
Baron,
if you want this trade. If you can't stop this Dragon, then I think you might regret this choice, HLE. It's a Mountain Dragon, but we're 33 minutes in, so it's just not going to last long enough.
Nope. So this Mountain Soul is going to go over to T1 as Doran hits Mega. He's on control vision, but Delight is also in a bit of trouble. There is the Gnar from, oh no, never mind. Doran not going to be able to find it. Gets it onto 2 in the end, but he is still dead. Flashes out of the way. Kanavi tries to get in there, but it's Gumayushi with the bomb to take him down. With 1 dead, then there might be an opportunity for HLE to push, but Mountain Soul, if T1 can reset and get back out onto the map with 5 people, this could be a very, very tough game for HLE. It's such a gambit to go for the Baron instead.
They do have a Fed Ziggs with 3 grubs with Baron. So I think what their plan here is to just go and get as much damage done straight up in their faces as possible. There's no Gnar here, and they're going to open this base up directly. They might even start sieging those Nexus turrets because there just is not a whole lot of T1 right now without Doran.
Oh, this is so scary though. Faker is on a bit of a flank angle as Kanavi gets in there right on top of Pays. Mega Inferno Bomb does so much work as he's down to the GA. Look at these Nexus turrets. They're just exploding. Delight trying to get rid of Faker as they're trying to burst down the Nexus. And it just goes. HLE bring us to a game 3 in the blink of an eye. Doran died. They knew that they would be able to get it done.
Such a decisive call. This is such a low damage game because there wasn't a whole lot of team fighting. I mean, in this one, it's 9 to 12 kills total, and a lot of those kills happen in the final moment where they try to defend the push, but there's just too much damage. Like you say, HLE with a decisive call there. They
캔슬 풀보 공 써라. 바로 쓰지 말고.
형이 공 써달래 써줄게 형. 로커 없다.
셀만 하고 이거. 셀만해. 가자. 왼쪽.
하나 더 오고.
로커 뒤에. 로커 볼 수 있는 사람. 맞아. 로커. 네. 로커 나한테 막는다. 천천히 올게. 타워 올게. 타워 봐. 빠르긴 해. 타워 다 깼어. 천천히 해봐.
타워 깨봐.
넥서스. 나이스.
나이스.
잡았다.